Hey guys, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Come on in, sit down, because it's time for another episode of Dreamwave Prelude Season 2, Volume 9. We're already in Season 2, man, and tonight we're excited because we got a tag team match for the very first time on Dreamwave Prelude, where we showcase the stars of tomorrow, man. We're excited for this to have our first ever tag team match, so we'll be bringing that to you later tonight. Season 2, Volume 9 already. As I said, we're coming off a big match with Volume 8, where we saw Sean Logan getting a win over Theseus, but, it was a disqualification win. Theseus decided not to let go of the sharpshooter, and the referee was forced to disqualify Theseus, and now Sean has gotten another win on Dreamwave Prelude. So big episode there. Go back and check it out right now in the archives. We got those ready for you at sitdownmarks.com. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in with us today. I appreciate it. I am DB, host of the Sit Down Marks podcast, and also producer of Dreamwave Prelude. And man, we've just been so excited since we started this, and the competition is building. We got a big announcement coming up towards the end of the show, so make sure you hang around for that big announcement coming up. So make sure you check that out. Let's talk about what's happened so far on Dreamwave. Let's check those Dreamwave Prelude power rankings after Volume 8. You heard me say Sean Logan got that big win, so he is up again on top with 3 wins and 1 loss. Jackson King hanging right there at second. Theseus, he takes a loss in the loss column, so he now drops back to 1 and 2 with Jordan Cross and Matt Hatter, which we will hear from Matt Hatter later on this episode. So excited to talk to him and see how the healing is going. Jade Blackwell 1-0 and Florida Man 1-0, all right there at the bottom. And so we'll see how this all shakes out coming up here coming up in the next couple volumes of Dreamwave Prelude. But like we talked about, lots has happened in Dreamwave Prelude. The talent pool has gotten bigger, and just so much more talent there on Dreamwave Prelude. So we are excited to have them here. But let's look back at Dreamwave Prelude, because let's look back at Dreamwave, because we just had Anniversary 11. We just had that, and it was 11 years of Dreamwave, and we were excited to celebrate. We had one of the biggest cards in history, and to bring on to talk about this card, here's one half of the Dreamwave Prelude commentary team, the green hat guy, Dylan. How we doing, man?
Oh, we're doing great, DB. Like you said, on the heels of a massive anniversary show. We got Prelude Volume 9. Hard to believe we're already on Volume 9. A lot of big things coming up this summer, later in the year. Yeah, there's all kinds of good stuff happening right now.
Absolutely. So let's go back, man, before we move forward and talk about everything that happened at Dreamwave Anniversary. You see the card right now, and this was there was a lot of high stakes on this card. We had Brittany Brooks addressing the fans after she hit Bobby Orlando with that chair back in February. So a lot's happening here. Let's hop into it. But right off the bat, man, so to kick off the card, we had the alternative title versus Christian Rose's career. Cody Lane, Christian Rose, these guys they've gotten to know each other very well. The stipulation was, Christian said if he loses this time to Cody, he will retire from Dreamwave. The alternative title is the only championship that has eluded Christian throughout his career. And, Cody Lane, he's been, undefeated for basically, a whole year. Coco's been on a roll, to say the least. And, they had to have one final time between these two. Cody was the champ for 364 days, but in the final moments of this match, Coco, desperate for a win, tries to use the belt, exposes a turnbuckle. Instead, Christian hits the turnbuckle, gets a pile driver from Cody. Cody gets the 1-2-3 from Christian, but his foot was on the rope, so Dreamwave promoter Jay Repsol comes out to confirm with the referee that Christian's foot was on the rope, and the match was restarted. You don't see this too often, but in a high stakes stipulation like this, you want the winner coming out clean. But Christian was able to lock in the Boston Crab kind of line tamer hybrid there, and Coco reaches for the rope, but it was just out of his grasp, and he taps out to the gunslinger. And Christian Rose is the new Dreamwave alternative champion for the first time in his career. He is now went full spectrum. He has held every title in Dreamwave. Now it's Rose versus the world forever, as he says. Dylan, you were front row, man. This was the match that kicked off the show. How exciting was this match to start the show, and then Christian come out on top here?
Yeah, hot opener. A large number of shows, this would have been the best match of the night. And, we had it starting off the show, like you said there in your recap. It looked for a minute like Cody had it won. It looked like Rose was done. And, J-Rep comes down and to say, hey, no, wait, we're not ending it like this. We're not calling it a career here on this. We're restarting the match.
Yeah.
And, you got to wonder how that made some of the boys in the backfield. There's already a number of people that think J-Rep has it out for him. Brittany Brooks, maybe, Connor Hopkins, maybe, and coming and sticking his nose in here. I got to wonder how Cody feels about that. But,
Sure.
I agree with it. You can't have just a Dreamwave let's try that one again. A Dreamwave legend like Christian Rose. You can't have his career end on a missed call like that. And restart the match. Yeah, it started out looking a little bit of a Walls of Jericho-ish, but man, he got that knee in the back. He sat down on it. That was some primetime Lion Tamer stuff.
Right.
Cody tries getting the ropes and has to tap out. Like you said, 1 day short of a full calendar year. It was a year as far as Dreamwave like events go. He won it at last year's anniversary.
Right.
Got to wonder what's next for Coco. And I can't wait to see who steps up to Rose. It's that alternative division. It's such a mix of styles. Your high flyers, your brawlers, big mix of talent. Excited to see who steps up to challenge old Rose for that title.
Yeah, man. And Christian isn't meant for words to say that he loves Dreamwave. You know what I mean? And he come out, in February and, told Cody that, that's how much he really wants to win this alternative title, to put his Dreamwave career on the line. And I would have to admit, man, throughout the night, I was a little nervous seeing, how this one was going to shake out. But I was very happy to see Christian come out on top. And from the looks of it, why would we think anything else? It looks like Christian is going to be a fighting champion. He's taking on all comers. And I'm excited, man, for when June rolls around to see, who's going to step up and maybe take a shot at Christian Rose here. But congratulations to Old Evil, man, the gunslinger. I tell you what, this guy's got a ton of nicknames. But, people say that Hartenbauer is the heart and soul of Dreamwave. Christian Rose is the backbone, if you ask me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And can't thank him enough for everything that he's given, to Dreamwave, not just independent wrestling, but, I'm really excited to see what he does with this title here, moving forward. So stay tuned to see what Old Evil does moving forward. Next up, the rematch, man. Was this one hot or what, man? I'll tell you what, the Hidden Gems, Rafael Quintero and AMB versus the Dreamwave Tag Team Champions, Hunter Holcraft and 12 Gauge. This was a fast-paced match, just like the first one, when these two competed. Both these teams emptied everything they had in the arsenal, but the champs retained via hyperdrive on the apron.
Yeah.
To AMB. Wow, just wow is all I can kind of say about this one. This match was crazy insane. So fun. AMB Quintero gave it all they had, right off the bat. Second match of the evening, and you got a match of the night contender right here. But man, the Hidden Gems, they came up just short once again, Dylan.
Right. Like, we said leading into the anniversary show, coming out of February, we said that February match, it was so good that it earned AMB and Quintero an immediate rematch, and the hype got it done again. Like you said, another barn burner, maybe even top February. The hype really have cemented themselves as like the tag team in Dreamwave, especially since the comeback. Like, yeah, there have been other teams that have held the gold, shout out New Guy, shout out Bang and Matthews. But like, I feel a Hype really have they've claimed that top spot. Like that top tag team is the Hype. They got the gold to back it up.
Great.
Quintero and A and B just short again. There's a part of me that wants to say if these teams wrestle 10 times, they go 5-5.
Sure.
But man, right now the Hype are 2-0, so maybe not. Maybe the Hype just have their numbers. Maybe it's that championship know-how, that championship medal. Let's put them over the edge. I hope we still see the Hidden Gems as a team. Like I think they both could have good singles careers also. And talking about Rose, these might be two guys to step up and go for that alternative title. But I hope we still see them as a team because they have such good chemistry. The four of them together, the two teams have good chemistry.
Right.
And yeah, that hyperdrive on the apron, absolutely sick. Gage stomping his head into the mat and Hunter throwing him ass over tea kettle.
Right.
Yeah, great match. Great, another successful defense for the Hype. Great stuff.
Yep. And 2 straight title opportunities for the Hidden Gems. I'm sure they're going to, get right back to the drawing board and go right back to work. And hopefully, somewhere down the line they can get another shot. But, happy to have these boys in Dreamwave.
Absolutely.
And they're going to make some waves, for sure, at some point. But, and these guys are just getting started. So sky's the limit for them too. Next up, Brittany came out to address the fans. Brittany Brooks, she addressed the Dreamwave fans. Why did she join the curse and hit Bobby Orlando in the head with a chair in February? Well, she came out, grabbed a microphone, said that Dreamwave turned their back on her a long time ago. She said she's proud she's proud of the way that Dreamwave has shown these women's athletes, and she feels like she is the forefront of why that is happening. And she's the reason. She said she's the reason the uprising is even a thing. You know what I mean? So she says that she built Dreamwave. She says that now she built it, and now she plans on trying to basically burn it to the ground. And she feels disrespected, and she felt like she was asked to step aside a couple times when she shouldn't been. So I don't know if any of these warrants a chair shot. I don't know if anything's warrant this, joining the curse. But man, did she have an attitude change very quickly. Everything that she used to talk about how she loved about Dreamwave is all of a sudden everything she hated about Dreamwave. But she came out, said her piece. We're not done talking about her. She did come out, later, that night, and we'll talk about that later. But, but this, this moment that she had on the microphone, it felt very, very bitter. It felt like she had a lot of pent up tension, that might have just been building, against Dreamwave. But, I know LaSalle faithful didn't like it. They were booing her. She come out, no more pink. Now she's, kind of, dark Brittany. She's wearing this, she come out, with a black shirt. She was looking at everybody very mean. The kids that she used to high five, she was not even paying attention to. Like, I don't even know this Brittany, man. I don't even know where this Brittany comes from. But, I really don't understand. But I guess that's, I guess I don't have to.
Yeah, you said that pretty well. Because she turned her back on Dreamwave in February, because she cracked Bobby with a steel chair, of course we were going to boo her. But man, I'd be lying if I said there was some stuff she said that didn't seem pretty accurate. Not saying she was right about everything, and it's easy to justify your own actions.
Sure.
But there was a couple things she said that kind of made me step back and go, she's not exactly wrong on that one, but like, you said, she said, she was the whole reason for uprising. She got the whole women's divisions going, and, she was the first champ. She was, like the first big main eventer, but, like part of the reason other people have came to the top is, wins and losses matter. She had to forfeit the title for injury. You can't fault anybody for that. But when she came back, she had multiple shots to regain it and came up short. Mm-hmm. She had a shot to dethrone RJS for the uprising alternative title and came up short. Right. Had another shot in good as gold last year, to get her case back, go back to back, and came up short there. And you can't expect to keep picking up L's and stay on top. That's not how this works. But yeah, it's weird seeing that whole change of attitude. It like you said, it's not the Brittany we've known for the past 2 or 3 years now, something like that. And then we'll talk more about her later again. But showing up later in the night to even further, stick that knife in a little bit deeper, turn a little bit deeper, and really align herself with the curse later on. But yeah, what happened to the old Brittany?
Yeah, I don't know. This new Brittany is here with a vengeance, though, and I don't know, I'm not here for it. I don't know, so you got to stay tuned to see what's going to happen with Brittany moving forward. Let's move on, man. The next match was the women's alternative title match. Winner gets to be the number one contender to the women's alternative title. Amina Belmont of the Curse versus two-turnt Lainey Luck, your current WWE ID Women's Champion, versus the main character, Erica Damia, versus the Princess of Perfection, Rachel Lay. She is a NWA OVW talent. Now, Lainey, the current ID champ, you heard me talk about. Erica recently signed by WWE as well. She's come up short in so many occasions at Dreamwave, and back in February, Lainey even gave her some inspiration, gave her a little talk, because the losses were starting to pile up for Erica, but not on this night, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh woo! Erica gets the win, the pin on Rachel Lay, and finally she has been noticed. The new number one contender to the women's alternative Dreamwave title, the main character Erica Damia. Man, Dylan, she finally got that first big win, dude.
Finally got a win. You love to see it. This is one of the athletes that the Dreamwave and Uprising crowd has really gotten behind. We just talked about in the whole Brittany segment, other people rising up. This is one of the people that Dreamwave has gotten behind. The audience has gotten behind. Nice to see her get a big win. Amina might have a gripe. I think this was almost a 3-on-1 handicap match at times, all three of them going after Amina. But hey, when you stick your nose in people's business, you got to be prepared for the consequences.
This is true.
And again, Lainey come in and with the title. Lainey was on a hot streak here at Dreamwave and Uprising. She had stacked a couple wins.
Yeah.
And I thought Rachel Lay really showed out. Second time we had saw her at a Dreamwave and Uprising event. I know she made an impression on a lot of people. But Erica, man, I don't know if it was something she, had to find in herself. I don't know if it was the words of encouragement that Lainey gave her back in February. Maybe it was that sharp dressed guy in the yellow jumpsuit. Maybe,
could have been.
There was some magic coming off of that. But yeah, whatever it was, Erica, the main character, as she calls herself, getting that first massive win and guaranteeing a future title shot. We're talking more about that title in a little bit, but yeah, that's a big win to earn an even bigger opportunity. Good for Erica. I'll get it right. Yeah.
Yep. Small little tidbit of information here. Erica will always have a little spot in my heart because we're from the same little small town in North Carolina. So I'm happy to see a little North Carolina girl getting her just due in the world of professional wrestling. So excited to see the journey keep going. But yeah, stay tuned. We'll see what happens here with Erica in Dreamwave. Next up, man, a big one-on-one match here. Stephen Wolf versus Hartenbauer. Team Dreamwave versus Team Curse. The rival continues. Both these guys are Dreamwave stalwarts. You heard me say Hartenbauer. He's the heart and soul of Dreamwave. On commentary, they said that this is Stephen Wolf's 35th match at Dreamwave. So, he's been around quite a long time. This is an awesome one-on-one matchup that I don't think has happened too often. Hartenbauer takes the big win here by reversing the guillotine choke to a pinfall. Awesome match here. Stock the Ultras. Hartenbauer gets the win, Dylan.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I wouldn't say Dreamwave OGs, but
sure,
they both are still going. Sometimes the OG gets that, veteran, connotation to it. But man, both of these guys can still go. Like you said, some continuation of that whole Curse Dreamwave feud. Of course, Wolf representing the Curse. He had Amina out there at ringside with them. Wolf and Amina are stirring up trouble all night long. But yeah, Hartenbauer gets that big win, gets some revenge back for himself and for Dreamwave after February. That old trick. Yeah, Wolf had the choke, but this is pro wrestling, not MMA. Hartenbauer pinned no shoulders to the mat, got that nice little 3 count, get him some momentum for Dreamwave as this whole cursed Dreamwave feud continues to boil over.
Yeah, man. Excited for this one, man. And to see how that all, keeps folding out, between these two. All right. So right before the last couple matches of the card here, Florida Man versus Trent Wrigley versus Damian Deschain versus the Good as Gold briefcase winner Bobby Orlando. Trent and Florida Man, their first encounter was right here on Dreamwave Prelude.
Yeah,
back on episode 7. I think Trent's trying to call them the Coastal Cousins, but I don't think Florida Man has anything to do with that. But Bobby Jr. even got in on this match, but Florida Man steals a victory from Trent Wrigley on Damian Deschain. Something tells me that Trent and Florida are not quite done yet.
Not quite done yet. Yeah, in another world, these guys might be a great tag team. Just 2 chill dudes. Very impromptu match. Like, I think Florida Man came out just to soak in some of those sun rays inside of a building, but anyway, I'm sure it made sense in his head. And then Trent comes out and Damian comes out and Bobby comes out, and like you said, Bobby's got that Good as Gold briefcase. I was looking for maybe him to make a statement, but it was Florida Man making this statement. That's another big win for Florida Man. He looked good on, like you said, volume 7 of Prelude, getting that win there. Now getting another win on the main roster. Florida Man is back. He's got that momentum in his back pocket. He's going to have to get a new lawn chair after this. His lawn chair took quite the beating in this match. A lot of surfing in this match. Even Ref Derek got in on it. He was surfing in the match. Just a good, fun time had by all. But, man, Florida Man, a couple big wins. It's excited to see what he's got the rest of 2026. A couple big wins in his pocket.
Yeah, me too. All right, next up, the world-class Channing Thomas, the current Dreamwave champion, versus Connor Hopkins, the leader of the Curse. This one was for the Dreamwave championship. No holds barred, man. This match had chairs, trash cans. These guys legit hate each other, so it makes for an interesting match. And in this match, they pulled out all the stops. So eventually the Curse would show up to help Connor, as the LaSalle faithful are chanting world class. The Curse is just having their way with chanting. Sydney Bacabella comes running out to try to help Thomas, but that name we talked about earlier, Brittany Brooks, she comes back out, hits Sydney with a chair. Connor finishes off chanting with a Pepsi plunge through a table. And new, once again, 2-time Dreamwave champion Connor Hopkins. Man, this one came with a lot of boos towards the end. Channing and Sydney has really won over this LaSalle crowd, and they were not happy about Connor being back on top. But you saw this match live. This was chaos, man. A lot of stuff happened in this match. Pretty incredible. We didn't expect to see Brittany, but here we are. Just insane, man.
Just some good old fashioned hate here. Like, it took no time at all for Channing and Connor to form a intense hatred. I think it's kind of because they're 2 sides of the same coin. I think is the expression. A lot of similarities between the 2. Mm-hmm. I think the egos are just too big to coexist. This, like you said, this match had a little bit of everything, man. Channing Thomas going coast to coast like a primetime RVD. Like, I didn't see that coming.
Right.
Curse interferes. They fight over to the bar. People are jumping on the bar, jumping off the bar, fighting in the crowd. A couple of different times, it looked like Channing might have it won. One of those times was when the Curse came in. It looked like he had it won, and they all hit the ring. One of the 2 biggest things that stood out was, Brittany interfering, Brittany hitting Sydney Bacabella. Come on. Like,
right.
Hitting Bobby's one thing. Going after somebody like Bacabella's, another level like that. We can't have that.
That's
and then that
dirty work there.
Exactly. Sets up Connor perfectly for that old Pepsi plunge. I'm glad you called it a Pepsi plunge. A Pepsi plunge off the top through a table. Of course that's going to be it. these guys, since they've met for the first time back in October, there's been constant bloodshed. Channing won the belt in October, retained it in December. But then this is 2 shows in a row. Connor eliminated Channing in the tag match in February and then got the pin here. In my book, that's 2-2. I'm not saying we're going to a 5th match.
Right.
I know it's not on the books for April. Shanning's match already been announced. But, eventually down the line, we got to have that 5th. We need to unbreak this tie here in my book. But the other thing, DB, the other thing that stood out to me was how much help Connor had. We talked about the curse, talked about Brittany coming down. And I think at the end of this match, we really saw it cemented Brittany's in the curse. She was doing what little hand motion they were all doing, trying to look cool. I said trying, but nobody besides Bacabella, who's been Shanning's guy since day one, nobody came out to help Channing. Not Bobby, not Hartenbauer.
Right.
We saw him on Team Dreamwave, but, up until October, since Channing came in up until October, he was on the other side of the Dreamwave crowd, if you will. He didn't make too many friends during all those months where it was him and Bacabella cheating over people. It's it kind of makes me step back and wonder if the locker room has Shanning's back. We're in this whole promotion versus faction warfare, if you will. Team Dreamwave and the curse. Does Dreamwave have Shanning's back? Does he got any friends? Is he going to be on his own? Is he going to just desert Dreamwave? It took me back a little bit. I thought we might see at least Hartenbauer or Bobby or Lando or somebody that teamed with Channing in February. They were all screwed over by Brittany. I thought somebody might come out and make the save, but nobody did. And Connor ends up leaving, like you said, a 2-time champ.
Yeah, pretty interesting that nobody came out to help. That's something they kind of we might have to think about moving forward in this rivalry. So yeah, lots of questions still, when it comes to the curse versus Team Dreamwave. So, but let's get to this main event, Dylan.
Yes, sir.
Main event, title versus title, winner take all. Rebecca J. Scott, RJS, the only ever Dreamwave alternative title holder, 722 days as champion, 15 title defenses, the first class badass versus On Becca, On God, B3, CCA, the current Dreamwave women's champion. Huge match, high stakes. This one was talked about a lot. You heard me say it before. This one broke up families. People choosing sides. That kind of stuff. A lot of people was on one side, one way or the other, and to get this type of huge matchup here at Dreamwave, man, I was just super thankful we could see these girls in their prime, go at it one-on-one. But late in the match, senior referee Jason Pemberton clears Becca's entourage from ringside to make it a little more fair for RJS, and RJS capitalizes and reverses that powerbomb to a roll-up to become the new champ. Becky 2 belts, RJS 2 belts, however you want to say it, the Dreamwave women's champion and alternative champion. First one in history, first time ever on the women's side. Rebecca 2 belts. She did it. RJS is at the top of the Dreamwave women's division, and there's nobody else standing next to her because she's got both singles belts in that division. Man, what a year RJS has had, right?
Yeah, we're only in April, and what a year she has had. Yeah. Can she lose? That's the point I'm at now. Sure, anybody can be beat, but can RJS be beat? Like you said, first and only to hold that alternative title. Now she's the first champ, the double champ, however you want to put it. Like you said, JP tossing out the triple M's, man 1, man 2, and Marge. Even in the odds, Ref took a bit of a bump himself when the kicks caught him, knocked him out for a bit. Looked like RJS may have had it one off a stomp, but, Ref was out. And, it wasn't the choke we've got used to seeing RJS win with. Becca had that covered. It was just a nice little counter to a power bomb, roll through 1, 2, 3. Big fight feel, the entrances, I guess you'd call it the pre-match, them both being in the ring, Val doing her announcement, just, could cut the tension with a knife, just throw all the cliches out here. But then, afterwards, even we saw, the confetti guns, and it was just a a happening as RJS becomes that first double champ. And I know we're looking at the past, not looking forward as much, but she's already said, hey, she's not dropping the alternative title,
right?
She's not picking and choosing.
She wants to defend both.
She's going to defend both of them. Already.
Which I love.
All-Star Weekend coming up in June. Yeah, she's got defenses lined up for both titles. Yeah, I agree. I don't like the whole great, I won 2 belts, so I'm going to vacate this one. No, she hasn't lost yet. Why take one from her? Let's see how long she can go defending both of them.
Right.
And Becca's not going anywhere. Yeah, she might go on a world tour.
Right.
I'm sure she has her own dates to make, but when it's Dreamwave time, she's going to be there. She's going to be looking to get that gold back. And she's got, Man 1 and Man 2 and Mars all helping her out. So we've not heard the last from Becca, but yeah, shout out RJS, massive win.
Yeah, no, and, it was a big card. It's available right now on independentwrestling.tv, IWTV, Independent Wrestling TV. You can check out the full card right now, and go check out this card, man, because this will get you excited about what's coming up in the future with Dreamwave, man. And we're gonna have a big summer. We got shows in June, we got shows in July, August. It's going to be a big one. So how does Dreamwave follow that up, Dylan? You know what I mean? So how do we follow that up? Quite possibly the biggest Dreamwave weekend ever. That's how we follow this thing up, because coming up June 19th and 20th, you get all 3 Dreamwave brands in 2 days. First up, it's called Dreamwave All-Star Weekend. Like I just said, June 19th and 20th. First up, June 19th, Uprising 8. This is the return of the women's division, the 8th, the women's full card here. This is going to be a big one. Uprising 8, 6 p.m. is bell time. Knights of Columbus in LaSalle. Tickets available right now at dwtix.com. This is another big show. Laney's back. Rachel Leigh is back. Tori Fox is on the poster. We're going to see Rebecca, live for the first time as the 2-time
J-Rod back.
J-Rod, yeah, coming back for Uprising 8. Haven't seen her in a little bit. She's kind of been busy doing American Gladiators. So,
yeah,
we'll be glad to see her back here at Dreamwave. So excited for that one. And that's just the kicker. That's just to start it off, because later that night, 9:30 bell time over at the Sanctuary in LaSalle. You can walk straight over from the Knights of Columbus building. The second show for the return of After Dark Wrestling presents Walk of Shame. Like I said, 9:30 bell time. I don't know that I could even talk about what all happened on the last After Dark show on this show. Go check it out right now on IWTV. That's going to make you want to buy tickets to this show. You can, like I said, 2 shows in one night on Friday, June 19th, Dreamwave All-Star Weekend. After Dark has made a roaring comeback. This is a 21-plus show. No kids at this one. This is the wrestling for the adults. You know what I mean? So in case you're new to the product. And then capping off the weekend of Dreamwave All-Star Weekend, Eve of Destruction. This one will be Saturday night, June 20th, bell time, 6 p.m. Matches are already starting to be announced. We talked about earlier, already announced, Channing Thomas versus Cody Lane. 2 guys coming off losses. Both guys lost their belts. Makes for an interesting match. There's gonna be a lot of cool stuff happening at Eve of Destructions. If you're watching right now, you can see Effie on that poster. Effie's coming to LaSalle. Effenbauer is going to be at After Dark the night before. Maggie Lee's coming back.
Maggie back, yeah.
Huge weekend. Huge all-star weekend for Dreamwave, man. Tickets available right now, dwtix.com. Dreamwave All-Star Weekend, June 19th and 20th. If you ever wanted to come make a weekend, if you ever want to come to LaSalle, this is the one to do it, man.
Yeah.
Plenty of hotels, plenty of places to eat, plenty of parking. You don't have to worry about that here, man. We're good. Yeah, we're good here. So just want to let you guys know about that. And then after the June show, already on sale at the Psycho Silo Saloon, July 18th, the Steel Divide. 2 cages wrapped in steel, wrapped in barbed wire. It doesn't get much more of a spectacle than this. July 18th, outdoor show, Psycho Silo Saloon, Langley, Illinois. And they just announced last night they're going to be doing a free shuttle from LaSalle to the show here for July 18th. So exciting times, man. Lots of stuff happening in Dreamwave. I mean, we already got an announcement, a plethora of shows, if you will, so go check those out, buy some tickets, come hang out, come see us at Dreamwave. This is the summer, man. This is the summer to get it done. So, all right, if you're ready, man, let's get to tonight's matchup. Yes, sir. Man. Let's bring in the other half of the Prelude commentary team, Primo. Primo, let's talk about tonight's matchup, man.
Definitely. Tonight, we definitely have our first ever tag team match here on Dreamwave Prelude. It's your classic youth versus experience matchup. Then not only is it our first tag team match, but it's both of these tag teams debut on Prelude as well.
Yeah. Both of these teams, Milwaukee Vice, Jack Valor, Eddie Grayson, very prominent in the Midwest wrestling scene, but, we haven't seen these guys at Dreamwave before. So big matchup here, and both of these teams really want these wins. So let's introduce you guys to both of these teams. First up, here is Milwaukee Vice.
Grayson and Valor, you two young dudes made a big mistake when you eliminated these two dudes from the Dreamwave Prelude Battle Royal back in October. But guess what? I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you did it because I think you guys are pretty damn good. I think you guys are on your way to being great, and it drives me nuts. It drives me. I don't want that opportunity. I want to teach him a lesson.
Relax. Keep it cool, baby. Keep it in the pocket.
I'm cool.
We got this. That's the Mar Man for you. And I'm the swag man. I keep it as cool as the other side of the pillow. And that's all we're going to have to do tonight because we're going to walk out the winners. Milwaukee Vice is going to show Dreamwave Wrestling how we get down.
Jack Valor and my tag team partner, Eddie Grayson, and we are both very happy to be back here at Dreamwave for their 11th anniversary.
That's right, and what do we got tonight? We got Milwaukee Vice. I guess they're upset because we eliminated them in that Battle Royal back in October. Hey, that was how long ago? I don't even know how many months ago, but they're still thinking about that. After all that time, what have we been doing? We've been traveling the country, picking up wins everywhere, and now we're back at Dreamwave, like you said, and that's who we got to run into, Milwaukee Vice.
And you know what? That's fine, though. It's going to be a clean sweep as always, and we're going to walk out the winners.
That's right. Let's go.
All right, so obviously these guys have beef. You know, they were all four of them was in the Rising Star Battle Royal back in October. Valor and Grayson had a little hand in eliminating Milwaukee Vice. So, Milwaukee Vice is looking for a little revenge here tonight, if you will.
I would say so. Looks like they're ready to get back.
Yeah, man. So let's see how this thing all shakes out. Let's head out to LaSalle. This was taped on the pre-show of Dreamwave's anniversary back on April 11th. If you guys are ready, man, let's head to the ring.
Let's go.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we got our first ever tag team match here on Dreamwave Prelude. On the left here, you have Milwaukee Vice, and on the right in the pink, you have Valor and Grayson. Starting off the match, we have Marman and Jack Valor.
Yeah, good to see some tag action finally on Prelude. We've been killing it with the scrambles and the singles, but let's get the tag teams in here.
Yeah,
Marman with the early advantage. Yeah,
Marman mentioned in that earlier promo, they did not forget about Valor and Grayson eliminating them.
They've had 6 months to sit and just think about those eliminations, think about what they could have done if they had won the Battle Royal. I mean, there was one person winning, but they could have figured that out at the end. But yeah, we got some bad blood here.
Definitely. When it all comes down to it, we're here now in this tag team match. A couple of deep arm drags there.
Some arm drags.
Got him a full Nelson. Another tag, yeah.
Love the quick tags.
In and out, little double team maneuver here. I tell you what.
Yeah, little moonsault there.
Valor and Grayson are doing a good job of staying on top of Milwaukee Vice.
Both of these teams have several years of experience teaming together now. Swagman legal in the match now. Both teams squaring off.
All 4 members now in the ring. Ref trying to hold them all back.
Kevin's doing the best he can. Milwaukee Vice takes the advantage. A couple, veterans here. They know how to get it done. As soon as I say that, double hip toss is there. Valor and Grayson.
Double hip toss indeed.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get some order restored back in this match.
Love the quick tags. Valor and Grayson.
Oh, with a
the
double
top.
foot stomp to the arm there on Swagman. Oh, almost a miss.
Little colliding of heads there. Milwaukee
Let's
Vice.
see if Milwaukee Vice takes advantage here.
In the corner. Both of them working over here.
Yeah, double beat down, double foot stomps in the corner, like you said. Let them know.
Man.
Letting them know, Marman.
You're not going to get a good response from Milwaukee when you're here in Chicago, in the Chicago area, I should say. A lot of bad blood between those regions.
Oh.
That's a solid strategy. Valor's got that speed, but if you take away his foot, there's not a whole lot you can run on there.
Oh,
taking a bite out of the finger now.
Hands.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness, the hands. Ouch.
Watch Swagman kind of moving his way over. Boot to the head. Come on now.
Of course, ref didn't see nothing there with Grayson over there distracting the ref. On
Turn around,
accident,
Kevin.
of course. Another tag here. I tell you what, Milwaukee Vice has been able to turn this match in their favor.
Quickly, too. Just a second ago. Nice leg drop. Just a second ago, Valor and Grayson had the momentum, but now it's that veteran know-how. Milwaukee Vice taking over, jawing with the crowd a little bit.
Ref telling Swagman there to watch the hair.
Crowd trying to get behind
2
Valor.
count.
Grayson and Valor are very familiar with that whole Chicago area, the greater Chicago area. These fans know Grayson and Valor trying to get a big win here on Prelude. Get on that Dreamwave main card.
Okay, all right. Can he get the tag?
Get there. Oh, cut off. Oh, nice enziguri.
Enziguri with the
Reach.
no! Swagman pulled him off the apron and nobody's home.
Pulled Grayson off the corner. Now Milwaukee Vice right back on top.
Yeah, they tagged there.
Swagman is a good eye by Kevin there. Shout out Ref Kev.
Little gyration. Oh.
Man.
Okay.
Walking the walk and talking the talk
sure
here.
Did that. Another two
Just
count.
a 2. It'll take more than that.
Nope. I guess
Marman
they
says
can't
it's
count
3.
too well
I don't.
in
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
It's going to take a lot to keep either Valor or Grayson down. Both of these young guys got a lot of fight in them. Just recently signed with the NWA. Shout out those boys.
Once again,
Crowd getting
attacking
behind
the
Jack.
hands.
Yeah.
Grayson's looking to get it tagged in here. Can Valor get over to his partner?
Grayson's getting impatient. He's been on that corner for a minute now. He gets that tag, if he can get that tag, if Milwaukee Vice don't put it away, if he can get that tag, he's going to be a house of fire.
Here we go. We're getting a little bit of fire behind Valor.
Okay. Throwing those feet, fighting his way out of the corner, up to the top.
Cross
body on both. If he can get up, he's got the tag. All 3 guys in the ring down.
He's got to cross over a couple obstacles to get there.
You're exactly right, Primo. He's got to get over both of them, though. Almost got there, yeah.
So close.
Marmian's reaching for a tag, and nobody's in the corner. Yeah, hot tag. Here comes Grayson. 2 big clotheslines. Nice catch.
Swagman with the backbreaker. receives the backbreaker, I should say.
Oh.
Side effect. I love me a good side effect there. Right, Grayson?
1 and 2, and oh, nope, Marman in to break it up. Both of these teams want this win. You know, they want that Dreamwave
to
main
the
card.
outside there.
Now it's Eddie fighting the 1-on-2, but doing a pretty good job with it. Some big old chops there.
Yep.
Oh, double boots to the gut. Setting up for a double DDT, maybe. Nope. Double super kick. Super kick party, if you will.
If you will, indeed.
Oh.
Let's see if they can get something going here.
Setting up a double team.
Running.
Nice little knee in the corner.
Quick tags again. Quick tags. Seem to work in the beginning.
For a finish spot here, yeah. Marman over. Breaks it up. Swagman throws Grayson into Valor.
That's smart there by Swagman. Grayson gets pulled out, gets thrown into the post.
Thrown in the post. Hey, that is smart. Valor is legal off that tag.
Oh, Milwaukee Vice with a double DDT. Ooh. Let's see if they take it here. 1, 2, 3. That's all.
Got him.
Wow, big win there for Milwaukee Vice, and that was a great matchup. That was an awesome tag team match by both those teams.
Absolutely. As our first tag team match here on Prelude, I loved that matchup right there.
I did too.
Yeah, that's one, Milwaukee Vice can hang their hat on that, put that in the record books. First tag win on Prelude. Maybe they can put the Battle Royal behind them now. They got that big win, and see if they can continue that momentum.
Yeah, I love a good youth versus experience match, like Primo said, man, and that's exactly what this one was. But so let's hear from Milwaukee Vice post match and see how they're feeling about this big win.
Grayson and Valor, great match, amazing match. You guys are good. They're very good. And you guys have something very strong on your side, and that's potential. But we have something stronger, and that's desperation. We're running out of time. And we have a goal to get on the Dreamwave roster.
Because we hungry, man. We hungry, we starving, we need it. We need it in our life. We want it in our life. Come put it in our life.
And we've taken you guys down, and we're one step closer. Check it out. Milwaukee Vice, holler at the dudes. 2 times.
Love that. Like you said, we hungry.
Yeah, they fired up, man. They're fired up.
Give it to them.
You got to love a good tag team that knows they don't have long to go and they want to get it in now. You know what I mean? So that was what I got from that post interview there with Milwaukee Vice. But happy to have Milwaukee Vice on a Dreamwave. Hope to see those guys back. Congratulations to Valor and Grayson. Despite the loss, they recently signed with NWA, as you guys mentioned. So congratulations to those guys, and it's well deserved. And yeah, I was happy to have our first tag team match on Prelude.
I loved it.
It was great.
Yeah, I love tag team wrestling.
Yeah, what a good one to have between those two, and hopefully we can have more in the future. So, all right, boys, well, let's move on. But I wanted to let you guys know. So, back in Anniversary, I was trying to check in with Matt Hatter. He's been dealing with the injury. Yeah. He's trying to get the feeling better. And I wanted to check in with Matt to see how he was going. He was the Rising Star Battle Royal winner back in October. He's been on recovery for the last few months, and but things just keep stacking up for Matt. A new challenge has been laid out. Take a look for yourself here. And I am here with Matt Hatter. Matt, I wanted to get an update, man. You coming off an injury. Oh, okay.
I'll take over from here.
All right.
Hey, Matt, what are some rapid questions here? When are you coming back? I don't care. Were you out on the rankings? Oh, yeah, you're at the bottom. Anyway, I've been watching you. Did you hurt yourself? Oh, wait, yeah, I was there. I saw what happened. And I didn't care, because right after you did it, I drop kicked you right in your mouth. See, I'm at the top of the rankings. I'm right up there. You're way down here. Oh, hey, Matt's bad leg. You can heal up, but we're not done. Because it would be a real shame if somebody targeted that leg again and sent you home with your wife and kids for good. See ya.
Well, that didn't go as planned, as you've seen. Sounds like a new little challenge has been laid out. It sounds like Jackson might want a piece of Matt Hatter to maybe put him back on the shelf. And, it always gets serious when you mention a family and kids, right? Like, that just took it to another level, and you could see the frustration on Matt's face. He's not been cleared to wrestle yet. He's still fighting to get back in the ring, working out, trying to heal up. So we'll just stay in touch with Matt and see how it goes. He's looking to return here very soon. I can't say that I'm shocked about, Jackson trying to capitalize on, Matt's injury. So we'll just kind of see how this one all plays out moving forward. All right, guys, if you were at Anniversary on the pre-show, you saw me come out and get into the ring, and I made a big, huge announcement. And the announcement was about the Dreamwave Prelude 2026 Top Prospect Series. And what this is this is going to be a series of matches through 2026, culminating in an elimination scramble match in December. The winner of that scramble will be the 2026 Top Prospect and will receive an alternative title match in 2027. So how do you qualify? Well, you see us every Prelude episode. We always show you the power rankings. The top 6 at the top of the power rankings after the October show will qualify for the elimination scramble match. So nothing's going to change on Prelude. We're still going to have these matches, but now they're going to be called the singles matches are going to be called a Prelude Top Prospect Series match. Now that can be a one-on-one, that can be a three-way scramble, it can be a fatal four-way, or it could be a six-way scramble. However, the winner of these matches will receive a win in the power ranking. So nothing changes on Prelude, but now the wins become more. There's more at stake for the wins, more opportunities for these guys and girls to get a shot at the Dreamwave main roster. So we come up with this idea and really looking forward to it. The very first Prelude Top Prospect Series match will be on Volume 10. And so we're excited for that. So we're just going to keep keeping track of the power rankings. So make sure you tune in to Dreamwave Prelude and check out the power rankings each and every week to see each and every time we have an episode to see how the rankings are shaping up. So, but it's going to culminate in a 6-man elimination scramble match at Dreamwave's Good as Gold on December the 5th. The winner of that match is going to be the 2026 Top Prospect Series and will receive an automatic Dreamwave alternative title match. Right now, can you imagine one of our Dreamwave Prelude prospects possibly wrestling Christian Rose? Assuming he maybe holds it until 2027, who knows what can happen by then, but the possibilities are endless here. This is a great opportunity for anybody that's been on Prelude or anybody that's on in the Top Prospect Series and trying to be at the top of the power rankings. So big opportunity here. Big announcement, man, and we're excited about it. We want to thank Dreamwave for letting us kind of put this little season-long tournament together, culminating in December. And, December is going to be something special, so make sure you stay tuned throughout the year, working towards that. Wrestlers will clinch a spot in that match and they will qualify, and they will be given a Dreamwave Prelude Top Prospect chain, and some of those will receive those on Dreamwave Prelude, and some of the people will receive it in front of the live crowd in LaSalle. So make sure you stay tuned. Either come out early to the pre-shows, or make sure you stay tuned to Dreamwave Prelude here on SitDownMarks.com to see how the Prelude 2026 Top Prospect Series is going to shape up. All right, guys, before we go home, man, I have just been told that I understand that Sean Logan, he would like to have a word with Prelude management following his DQ win over Theseus. So it looks like on Volume 10, we're going to be hearing from Sabotage Sean Logan. I'm assuming he's probably not very happy about how that last match went down. So, going to be interested to say, this is serious because, Sean don't ask for too much time. You know what I mean? He's a workhorse. He's a hard worker. He likes to do things behind the scenes. You know what I mean? So for him to want to talk to Prelude management, he must have something on his mind. So, so looking forward to seeing what Sean, has to say for Volume 10. And so excited for that. All right, boys. That's going to put a bow on another episode of Dreamwave Prelude, Volume 9 already. Can you believe? Next up we're going to be at 10 episodes,
the double digits,
right? And we're also going to be right about at a year doing this already, Primo.
Absolutely wild. I can't believe that's already been a year.
Right.
That flew by. I'll say that.
Yes, it did. I want to remind you, too, that Dreamwave Anniversary 11 Undeniable is available right now on IWTV. Go check it out. And also, Dreamwave All-Star Weekend tickets are available right now at DWTIX.com. Like I said, I'm going to reiterate one again. If you've been waiting to go and pick a show, this is the weekend to come to. Any of these three or all three, you're going to be very happy. LaSalle's a beautiful city. Lots to do, great places to eat, plenty of places to stay. Excited for that. So, all right, boys, for Dylan, Primo, and myself, I am DB, the Dirty Bird. Appreciate you guys for tuning in so much here at Dreamwave Prelude, and looking forward to Volume 10. Like I said, make sure you guys head on over to sitdownmarks.com and follow us while you're there. Follow us while you're here, all that kind of stuff. So really appreciate it, guys. We'll see you guys next time. And we're going to get you out of here with the way that we know how. Some pictures from Dreamwave's anniversary show, Undeniable, back on April the 11th. Check out some great pics from that show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are the Sit Down Marks podcast. And we'll see you guys next time.